Ever since I was a child, I've always been fascinated by twins. There's something inherently eerie about the idea of two people who share the same face, the same DNA, and the same secrets. But my fascination turned to dread the day I moved into a new house in a quiet, remote town. The house was old, its time-worn facade hiding the many stories it held within its walls. I was thrilled with the place, but from the moment I stepped inside, a chill settled in my bones. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was something deeply unsettling about the house. My unease only grew when I learned about the twins who had once lived there. They were identical sisters, Mary and Margaret, who had been inseparable from birth. The townsfolk spoke of them in hushed tones, recounting stories of their strange behavior and their eerie bond. It was said that Mary and Margaret never spoke to anyone but each other, communicating in a language all their own. They were rarely seen apart, their identical dresses and long dark hair making them an unsettling sight to behold. But the most disturbing rumor was the one that whispered of their shared dreams. "They have visions," an old woman in town had told me, her eyes wide with fear. "They dream of things that haven't happened yet, terrible things." I dismissed the tales as mere superstition, the stuff of urban legends and small-town gossip. But as the days turned into weeks, I couldn't ignore the growing sense of unease that had settled over me. One night, as I lay in my bed, I heard a soft, murmured conversation coming from the room next door. I strained my ears, trying to make out the words, but it was as if they were speaking in a foreign tongue. I crept out of bed and pressed my ear against the wall, listening to the strange melodic cadence of their voices. "Mary, do you see it too?" Margaret's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes, I see it," Mary replied. "It's coming for us." Fear gripped my heart as I listened to their conversation. What were they talking about? What did they see? I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever they were discussing was something malevolent, something that threatened not only them, but the presence of me in the house. The following morning, I decided to confront them. I knocked on their bedroom door, my voice trembling as I called out to them. "Mary, Margaret, can I come in?" There was a long, eerie silence before they finally responded. "Yes, come in." I pushed open the door and found them sitting on the edge of their beds, their identical faces fixed in an expressionless gaze. Their eyes were empty voids, and it sent a shiver down my spine. "What were you two talking about last night?" I asked, my voice shaky. They exchanged a glance, a silent conversation passing between them before Mary finally spoke. Just dreams, nothing more. I pressed them for more information, but they remained tight-lipped, their secrets buried deep within their mysterious bond. As the days passed, my fear of the twins only grew. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were hiding something dark and dangerous. And then, one night, I had a dream of my own. In the dream, I was standing in the middle of a dark forest, the moon casting eerie shadows on the gnarled trees. I heard the sound of footsteps approaching, and I turned to see Mary and Margaret standing before me. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and their voices were a haunting chorus. "Join us," they whispered in unison. "Join us in the dream." I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding in my chest. It was just a dream, I told myself, but the feeling of dread lingered. And then, as I lay in bed, I heard their voices again, softly murmuring in the room next door. I couldn't resist the urge to eavesdrop, to listen in on their mysterious conversations. I crept out of bed and pressed my ear against the wall, my heart pounding in my chest as I listened to their words. "Margaret, do you hear it?" Mary's voice was filled with fear. "Yes, I hear it," Margaret replied. "It's here." I couldn't make sense of their cryptic conversation, but I knew one thing for certain. Whatever they were talking about was real, and it was coming for me. The next morning, I decided to leave the house. to escape the suffocating presence of the twins and their ominous dreams. But as I packed my bags, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that their identical faces were staring at me from the shadows. I made my way to the front door, my hand trembling as I reached for the handle. And then, with a sudden burst of clarity, I realized the truth. I was the twin. I had been living in the shadow of my own existence, haunted by the specter of Mary and Margaret. The dreams I had heard, the voices I had listened to, they were all reflections of my own fears and insecurities. The twins were not the source of the darkness. It was within me all along. I stepped out of the house, leaving behind the twins and their mysterious world. As I walked away, I couldn't help but wonder if I had escaped the darkness or simply embraced a different kind of nightmare, the one that lurked within my own mind. For more story like this, subscribe, share, and like.